think that's unusual as we look at the children at divorce. Typically,
Munchkin gentle.
take on responsibility. We're very narcissistic, inappropriate.
Actually, quit it. Quit.
Is bad, is painful, and if this is painful, it's bad, and I probably had a hand in it, so.
And did you think at the time this is horrible, or did you think at the time this is just going to be different?
No, I thought it was horrible. I loved my daddy, and I did understand enough that our family was breaking apart. My mother and my older sister and younger brother and I moved across the United States from my father, so there was enormous disruption and change. And now, in the 1960s, maybe the year 1960s to be exact, when we were a divorced family, there really was very few of those. We lived in the San Francisco Bay Area in a suburb. My mom drove into the city to work, and we lived there for several years, and then she moved us to Texas, which was where her roots were. But I can remember I could go up and down any street in my neighborhood and touch every house of the kids that I knew and went to school with, and I knew one other single mom family. We were a great oddity, and there was considerable shame about that, especially aided by the fact that I can remember as a 10, 12-year-old
Gentle munchkin.
my mom up to get her to go to work because she couldn't get herself up because she struggled with alcohol. So I had alcoholism and abandonment, these really tough issues. And then
Gentle with the babies.
because we didn't have enough money and we lived in an area that looked like we had enough money, so there was the need to keep up the pretense. I would look back now, and I'm cautious therapy, just to be honest with all the listeners. I would look back and I would say I was an over-functioning person. I took on uber responsibility in the ACOA or adult child alcoholic system. I thought I could fix it.
Gentle.
You were aware of your mom's issue with alcohol at a young age, like 9, 10. How did you
It was such a part of the fiber. And
All right, who put the...
my mom would sit on the end of the couch in our family room with her highball of scotch and water, just a little bit. And she'd have her cigarette trailing up. And she was always, I want to be clear, she was loving, she was a creative, she was a brilliant woman. But she was a woman not made for her time. My mother was a radio talent. She was a television person. And when she met and married my father, she retired from all of that in the 1950s and really lost herself. Then as a divorcee, I think she carried around a giant stigma of failure.
What's the matter, Mama?
It was obvious that she had a problem with drinking, and she would pinball down the hall late at night, and I could hear her going against the wall to her room. And again, she couldn't stand in the morning. The alarm would blare, waking me up. And so I'd go in the kitchen and grab some Coke and a couple of chocolate chip cookies and take them into her bedroom and try to get her to wake up.
How else did you absorb that divorce and really describe kind of what you were like?
Hey, quit with the shoe.
After your parents split.
I was very good. I did everything right. I cleaned the house. I took care of the pets.
Opal, what are you doing?
We had a black cocker spaniel, and I realized not long ago that when she
Opal,
and we didn't know it.
quit it.
I guess she had cancer, we found out. But when she was ill, she came into my room and got up on my bed and slept at my feet. And I'm like 12, 13.
Opal.
And she was wheezing. And then we went to tell my mom. And my mom
Quit.
said, oh, she must not be well. And then mother took her to the vet and said that indeed she was very ill. And I look at that really as just taking an opportunity because, oh my gosh, even my God knew that I was going to when she was sick. I was the one who would listen. I was the one who would respond.
Your book is about families that are broken. Divorce is not the only way families get broken. But in fact, in your book, you make it clear that intact families...
Somebody hit a bone in my shoe.
Every one of us ends up
Toy.
making a broken family in one way or another because we're all broken. And so as I go on in my book and I talk about my original family being a broken family, and I decided I was going to create a perfectly intact second family. It was going to be perfect, and I met my husband in seminary, and we lived together years before divorce. But guess what? In the years that followed, our own family fell in love, not through divorce, but through other things. And so now I say I come from a broken family and I still come from a broken family.
Yeah. Let me go back to your childhood. Your ongoing relationship with your dad, did you have contact with him?
We saw our dad about once, maybe twice a year. He lived thousands of miles away from us. He was a professional, very responsible man, a CEO of a large corporation. And you kind of see us, we would bring matching dresses for my older sister and myself, and we would put them on in our black cotton leather shoes and go out to some steakhouse and saw his steaks. And I remember trying to think of some things to talk about with him to keep him interested in me. But honestly, some of the hardest things happened when I was a teenager. I remember my dad saying to me,
Okay, guys, that's not the only food dish in the whole house here. Only got 3 others.
because I'm 15 or 16 years old, especially with financial responsibility, that separated us for years. When I was in seminary myself and again working on understanding how God as a father could love me when my earthly father had abandoned me, I really felt drawn to try and reestablish a relationship with my dad. He wasn't financially responsible for
You
me.
guys are goofy.
And so I called him and asked if we could
All 6 of you.
actually met for a weekend where he was having a business conference.
Gotta get in one food dish.
30 minutes, and I got really uncomfortable. Just I thought, surely he's bored with me. You know, I haven't seen
You guys are
him
goofy.
once a year in 20 years, 30 minutes is probably plenty for him, and I excused myself. And I was going back to my hotel room, and I ran into my stepmother, and she said, why aren't you with your dad? And I said, well, Rita was done with me. And she said, no, Lisa, he set aside the whole weekend to be with you. Oh, I went back to my room and I picked up my Bible where I'd been reading it because I was undone by this. I didn't know how to pull myself together enough to trust this. I had been reading in 1 John and I went there and I read in 1 John 4:18 that there's no fear in love. But perfect love casts out fear because fear has to do with punishment. And you're going to talk about how Jesus endured any punishment you could ever imagine for us on the cross. And I realized I was afraid of the potential punishment that my father would reject me again. And I realized God was assuring me that he didn't have that.
Well, at least they found another
That
food
he had
dish.
that complete acceptance for me through his son. And that was a stepping stone for me. And over the years,
Hey.
I continued to be able to learn to love my dad. And you know what? I think he loved me too. When I was in my early 30s, I spent Christmas, one particular Christmas season, close with him, and our family
Well,
was
left to
there.
right, we have Olivia, we have
My
Oxley,
husband and kids left, and
we
he
have
left, and I called just
Anna,
one night at the
Anna.
table. And he looked across the table at me and he said, "Oh,
and
I'm so sorry
Opal,
that money was always an important
and
to you."
these 2 black boys,
And I know
which
people get them coming in
I can't tell them apart from this angle. I think it's Omri and
Keep it off the table
Orion.
because it made me uncomfortable. And I felt
yeah, 6 little turds.
I've been